When I think of the principle of less is more and depth over coverage, it's important to me that there are some essential through lines of this school, that we're not pretending or acting like we believe in that for the kids, but then the school operates in ways that are completely antithetical to our deepest beliefs for kids. It's hard because as a school leader, I'm learning that there's always something that's critical. And I'm also learning as a school leader that it's actually my job to help sort on behalf of my colleagues and the kids and the community, and to a certain extent, to sort out what it is, not by myself, what it is we're going to tackle now, and what it is we're going to try to do just well enough now because it's naive to believe we could ignore it, and what in our big picture we're going to say important but not yet.
Some point, probably around ninth grade, it took a while for me to adjust to it. It was definitely a hard adjustment for me. But once I kind of figured out that I'm not just doing schoolwork because I have to, I'm doing it because it's going to help me somewhere along the line. That that connection that Parker makes between what you learn now and taking it to the bigger world, once I got that, it was one of those, oh, so that's why I'm here kind of moments. And that was when Parker became a little bit more, not easy. Parker's never easy. The saying is, if it was easy, it wouldn't be Parker. But one of the moments when I discovered, okay, I want to be here, is when I realized, oh, I'm learning this because I need it, not because you're just telling it to me.
Let me start by saying I think that this is a tough principle, less is more, for schools to capture and to put into place, because there's so much pressure on schools to cover a mandated curriculum. And that often results in teachers feeling that they have to balance the need to cover that curriculum with a focus on genuine understanding and knowledge. When you really see the principle applied well, what you see instead is a real focus on making sure that students understand the important skills and knowledge and concepts that are at the center of those learning objectives, and a real genuine effort at mastery of learning. And when that's done well, you see much greater intellectual engagement and much more evidence of curiosity and students taking ownership for their own learning.
I remember when one of the girls came home from school and she had been wanting to get some, what she called extra work in math, meaning that she really wanted to more better challenge, and the teacher, this was probably when she was in third or fourth grade, simply gave her more math worksheets to do. And finally she looked at me, she says, "Mom, this is what I meant." She said, "This just means I'm doing more work." Where now, when she wants that more of a challenge, she really does have an opportunity to go deeper into what she's learning versus just doing extra work. So that was a great motivational factor too, in getting our kids involved in school and learning the way we wanted them to be learning, rather than just being given information and having to repeat it back.
I guess the saying "less is more" means that you aren't you aren't working on a lot of busy work, a lot of just worksheets of problems. You're just pushing them out and putting them back in, answering all these problems, and you're getting good at doing the math. But instead, we're slowing down. We're doing fewer problems, and instead of doing the problems, we're gonna wonder why that problem works and why the answer comes out the way it does. So it's more about the process, I guess.
Less is more works in my math class because I learn more. I keep the knowledge. I just don't, after the test, I just don't forget about it. I actually retain the knowledge
Yeah.
and use later in life.
And that's more helpful than just memorizing a bunch of word problems.
If Diane was to direct us and this is what's going to happen with everything that we do, then we're not going to get as much out of it as if we spend, 4 days on something that she could have taught us in an hour class, but over those 4 days, I could explain to you every single prompt and why it happens and what's going to happen if you ask a harder question, things like that.
Well, I think that the kind of less is more philosophy that Parker has is definitely better than the breadth over depth type thing, because the thing that Parker does, and especially this philosophy class does, is teaches us how to think, rather than just having us memorize a lot of facts that we can use during a test or something. It really teaches you how to use your mind, and I think that's really important. And it's shown up, at least for me, it's definitely shown to be much more worthwhile. Even when I was taking the ACTs a few months ago, there were a lot of things, especially in the science section, I found that I didn't actually know, but you kind of learn how to reason your way through things and just how to actually use your mind to figure things out rather than just, I don't know, memorize things. I think that's really important.